Big man ting, smash the like button and subscribe. So, Deontay Wilder has had an exclusive interview with ESPN's Dan Raphael. He said the following: "I'm a warrior," Wilder told ESPN's Dan Raphael in a statement. "I feel the same way I did on fight night. If I have to go out, I want to go out on my shield. But I understand, but I understand that my corner and my team has my best interest at heart. Mark Breland is still part of Team Wilder." So basically, initially reports were saying that Breland was sacked and whatnot. We heard that Breland was locked out of the changing room and left outside crying, which is quite... This Wilder's character is proper questionable, man. He's a proper questionable cat. Seriously. Like, regardless of anything else, that on its own is questionable. You really get to know someone's true self in a loss. It's easy when you're winning to be smiling and kissing people's heads and whatnot, and oh, I love you so much, but you really find out a true person when you take a loss. And to me, if I was Mark Breland, and I understand, listen, you might as well stay with him because he's going to get whooped and you might as well cash him in, but still, if Mark Breland, like if it wasn't about the money, I'd leave Wilder on that basis. Any man who can throw you to the side and lock you out of a changing room and ban you from a changing room, who do you think you are? Do you know what I mean? Who do you think you are to tell me I can't come in my own changing room, kind of thing? That to me, that'd be it. Well, apart from the money side of things, that'd be it with me. Yeah, I'd work with you again, but in my mind, I'd know what kind of cat you are, and that just sums Wilder up. He's heartless, literally. He ain't got no heart in the ring, and he ain't got no heart out of the ring either. Yeah? And bottom line, keeps banging on about this whole warrior thing, this, that, the other. Now anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about the warrior thing. We've drilled that one to DEATH on this one. However, what I will say is, Wilder keeping Mark Breland, is it good, is it bad? Well, there's two sides to this. Mark Breland, if anyone should have been fired, it should have been Jay Diaz. Number one, Jay Diaz is head trainer. Number two, Jay Diaz has no experience. I'm not sure what Jay Diaz brings. There was no one was repairing the ear. Jay Diaz's advice was set him up for the right hand, step back and set him up for the right hand. That's what he was saying. Well, to be fair, actually, Jay Diaz, that weren't a bad strategy. When your man's getting mauled, that's probably the best thing Wilder could done. Just take a step back and just sling it. But he didn't. Wilder didn't have the warrior heart, didn't have the warrior code to do that. But still, the fact of the matter is, Wilder's been training now for 15 years. I mentioned this in my Larry Holmes interview, where Larry Holmes said that Wilder quit. And the bottom line is, Wilder's been training now for 15 years. I don't want to hear no more about, oh, he started late. 15 years. And ultimately, 15 years later, these two men, Mark Breland and Jay Diaz, this is what they've come up with. A man with no legs, a man with no chin. Not that you can really change things. You can't really change... Well, you can change legs, to be fair. Clearly his legs aren't conditioned if he's complaining about a 45-pound walkout outfit. And that comes down to trainer. So what I'm saying is, Mark Breland and Jay Diaz have created someone who literally... I'm not even going to sit here and... I was about to say all he's got is a right hand, but that's not even... He hasn't even got a world-class right hand, as I've explained many times before. A world-class right hand, a world-class shot, means you've put out someone world-class. Mike Tyson put out the Neil champion Michael Spinks with hooks and uppercuts. That means he's got world-class hook and uppercuts. AJ's put out Klitschko, hook and uppercuts. AJ's put out Dillian White, hook and uppercuts. See what I'm trying to say? That's how you get accolades in the particular shots. Wilder, he ain't put no one out world-class with any shots. Ortiz don't count. Brazil don't count. So, after 15 years, they've created a man who has his best asset is top 30 right hand. Wilder's hand historically is probably top 30, top 40. That's what you've got. That's all he's got. No, it'd be one thing, yeah, really, if Wilder's right hand was truly all-time great level, was the best ever. At least you can say then, well, we spent 15 years, but listen, he's got one trick, but that one trick, we pull it off. Every time you've come under the lights, that one trick's failed, which tells me it's not really that much of a good trick. It's not that much of a good skill. It's not 99 out of 100. It's not even 90 out of 100. Wilder's right hand's like 80 out of 100. If he's in there with some just above average opponents, he'll get them. Otherwise, he falls apart. Look at the Bermain-Stavern 1 fight. Bermain-Stavern ain't no good, but that right hand disappeared. Nowhere to be found. Made excuses again. Oh, I broke it. Oh, I was ill. Oh, I was underweight, etc., etc. So I'm sorry. Yeah, in terms of passion speaking, it wasn't nice to hear that Mark Breland been fired, but that was on the basis that Mark Breland saved him. But on a serious note, Wilder's going to need to make changes to his team. Because even though the rematch is only going to have 6 months, it's better to bring someone in for 6 months than have these two. These two have, in my opinion, proved or not proved much in 15 years. What have they really proved in 15 years? You have no answers. When someone comes on top of you, you have no answers apart from putting your earmuffs on. That's not good enough after 15 years. It's not. I'm sorry. Even if when someone puts it on you and you get backed up to the ropes, you could kind of counter right hand. Even if they've trained you to do that, that'd be a skill. Do you know what I mean? You know what, Wilder? We know you haven't got no inside game, but what we're going to do is we're going to train you. If in the occasion you ever do get backed up to the ropes, we're going to practice rolling or slipping or something and banging the right hand. Or maybe just literally covering up and then just banging the right hand. That would have done. Something would have done. But he hasn't even got that. No counter punching. No anything. Just stand there. Not good. And I wonder what they've been doing for 15 years. Seriously, what have you been doing? I can guess. What they've been doing is bringing in a whole load of bums. Malik Scott, no offence. You knocked him out in the first round with a punch that didn't even hit him. You bring Malik Scott in, and he probably just falls over every time you tickle him. Every time he brushes his ear. You probably brush his chin with a shot and he just falls over. And that just makes you think you got massive power. That's probably what's been happening. Because clearly you haven't been in the gym having wars. You haven't been in the gym going toe-to-toe with no one. You haven't been in the gym getting backed up. You haven't been in the gym getting that experience. And that's why I do rate, to an extent, Floyd Mayweather's Doghouse. Although a lot of his fighters ain't no good anyway. But I mean, at least I don't believe Wilder's been in there getting like having it put on him. And we talked about this with AJ after the first Ruiz fight. But these AJ and Wilder are two different classes apart still. Because at least AJ went toe to toe with Ruiz, there weren't no toe to toe with Wilder. Wilder had nothing. Even if AJ lost the first fight in terms of going toe to toe with Ruiz, at least it was 50-50 in there. He put Ruiz down, kind of thing. See what I mean? Wilder, there weren't no 50-50. It was pure, just nothing, no answer for nothing. So someone, I know it's unlikely he's going to fire both of his trainers, but at least you're going to have to bring someone else in. Bare minimum, absolute rock bottom minimum, someone else coming in. And they need to be like, yeah, to the public, maybe don't make them head trainer, but they need to be having a massive influence, because at this point, it's better, if these two guys have proved over 15 years that you can't do much, you might as well roll the dice and gamble that, let me bring someone in now and hope maybe, and just bank, and it's just pure gamble. Because what we do know is, going with what you've been with for the last 15 years is no hope at all. Bring someone in who's going to, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I'm not sure, to be honest, who you bring in, but bring someone in who can, maybe even Errol Spence's trainer. Just as someone, because Errol Spence is quite long and lanky. Errol Spence's trainer, Terence Crawford's trainer, they're both long and lanky and whatnot. Bring one of them in. Hire one of them two. That's what I'd be thinking at this point. Drastic measures now. All of this being being loyal stuff's great, but no, you're past that now. If you want a chance in this shot, if you want a chance in this fight, that's what you got to do, in my opinion.